So out of the box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, we have Prometheus in 3D. So let's put on those 3D glasses, yo, and let's talk about this movie. So this is quote unquote the prequel of how the aliens were actually created. Are we going to find our makers? What is actually happening in the Alien franchise? And I probably still don't know because I'm not smart. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Prometheus in 3D. So let's talk about the 3D effects first. They were okay. I think it was mostly depth, not a lot of pop out, but nothing that was all inspiring where I'm like, that is some amazing ass 3D. The best 3D effects was when Michael Fassbender, aka David, was in the big hall and there was the big holograms of all the Earth and the solar systems and that they're going to choose Earth to, kind of destroy, if you want to put it that way. So yes, the movie looks fantastic. However, did it need 3D effects? I'm going to say, heck no, sir or ma'am. So anyway, did I like this film? Oh, anyway, what's it about? It's basically the prequel of the Alien franchise. Talks about the makers, talk about how these alien life forms came to fruition, and what exactly are the makers. Okay, this is a weird freaking movie. If you didn't know the writers for this movie, the writers of this also had 3-body problem. So they are very much into the sci-fi religion-esque aspect of this, and you totally feel it, especially with the two scientists trying to find, the makers of them and contact them to them. So this movie came out in 2012. When I think about that, it's like, holy shit, this came out 12 years ago. And first off, the special effects in this movie are freaking off the chain for a 2012 film. It is just crazy where we're at then to now and how we've gone backwards in time. I mean, I'm not joking. The scene in Prometheus where the ship falls from the sky and rolls towards Charlize Theron and Noomi Rapace, that is some top 10 tier special effects. And you're just like, where did this go? Where did this type of special effects go? And speaking about that scene, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of characters running straight, turn left, turn right. You have an option. It's almost like when you're in the Middle East and you have mortars or rocket fire and you hear the sirens go off. You don't run towards the bunker. In my opinion, you look at the sky and you think and you see, okay, where is it coming from? Because you don't want to run towards what's coming to the ground. So that's what I want to say that way. So that's when it happens in this movie. But okay, after watching this, I think twice or 3 times total my entire lifetime, I still don't really understand the overall premise. Alright, because the movie first opens off with one of these makers basically sacrificing himself to create the humans. So now I'm wondering if this was a rogue maker, if I'm going to put it that way, who said, I know what the other makers are going to try to do and destroy humans, so I'm going to make my own humans, but then that doesn't make sense. It feels like a maker went on its own, sacrificed himself to make humans, but then the other colony back in this other solar system realized that and wanted to destroy the humans. I think that's how it worked, but then the whole other plot of this movie is these makers is a military base, right? And they're making this bioweapon, and the bioweapon got loose. So I'm still trying to understand everything about this film. Yes, it is beautiful to look at. Yes, we're trying to understand these organisms and how they're not perfect alien life forms yet because they're not going into humans every time. They're going into other creatures to figure out what should be their perfect evolution to be the alien that they are, an alien covenant. So I understand that completely. But just the levels of reachery in this movie are interesting because, like I said, you have the God message, you have these maker messages, you have the alien message, you have it trying to connect to the alien franchise, and it does at the very end. But it's just so baffling to me of the connective tissues and what it wants to actually say to the audience. And I think that's where I'm struggling with here is, there's that black substance, right? And it turns people into either just gonzo maniacs are just people that just can't comprehend and they just go crazy. And I think that's the weird thing because in Prometheus, right? So of course there's not evolution because I watched this in Alien Covenant back to back. That in Alien Covenant things are actually coming out of the bodies. Well, in Prometheus, none of them did. They just became weird ass, so zombies if you want to put it that way. So I don't know if it's the evolution that occurs with the 10 years from Prometheus to Covenant, but it doesn't really explain that as well. It also really doesn't explain why these makers wanted to kill humans. You get no if, ands, or buts. And it's just like a little bit frustrating that you're going to go through this 2-hour journey and not get a lot of answers. And I think that's the most frustrating part, is there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, but you don't get the answers that you expect to get. But as a movie, all right, but looking at the technical craft, like I said in the beginning, how I said it looks fantastic. The sound design is awesome. The special effects are top tier. The look of the movie, the cinematography, absolutely freaking gorgeous. The acting in this movie, pretty damn good. I mean, the overall technical craft of this movie, fantastic. The acting in this movie, fantastic. The intrigue of this movie is fantastic. I think it's the writing of them trying to connect the dots really doesn't work for me. But after, like I said, after watching the second time, you do kind of see things connecting here and there. But then literally watching this and Alien Covenant back to back, I think I got more questions than answers. And it doesn't help that Alien Covenant was written by completely different people. So that doesn't help as well. Also with Prometheus, you have like a Guy Ritchie character. Like I say, you have Michael Fassbender. You have Idris Elba. You have Logan Marshall Green. You have Charlize Theron. You have a lot of people in this movie. I mean, truly through in and throughout. I just think there were so many different ideas thrown at the screen, and I wish it just expanded on some of them just a little bit more, like David's character. And this just proves my point. AI will ruin us all, yet we still go towards AI. As a human beings, we need to stop. Stop, drop, and roll, and stop trusting AI. So overall, Prometheus 3D, not the greatest experience. I don't think you really need it. But as Prometheus, as a movie-going experience, does it really, to my opinion, connect to the Alien franchise? Sure, the very loosest of looseness of it. But it does connect a lot more with Alien Covenant, and that's why I don't think they called this Prometheus. I don't think why they called Alien Covenant Prometheus 2 for that reason. Because I think when people came out of this movie in 2012, they were really fucking confused. But watching it again and watching all the other Alien movies back to back, I appreciate this movie more, but there is still some mixed messaging in this movie where I'm still baffled. So Prometheus will receive a 3.5 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 70%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics a 73% with 315, audience score is 68% with 250K. Critic consensus. Ridley Scott's ambitious quasi-prequel to Alien may not answer all of its big questions, but it redeems by its haunting visual grandeur and compelling performances, particularly Michael Fassbender as a fantastious android, aka David. Sure, I could agree. A lot more questions than answers, though. Chase Lock here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Bluetoontopia. You Blue Futonians, think about your great day on French Take tomorrow, week from month, or year from every single one of you, and you know exactly what's coming up next.